Hi, Peter.
Hi there, Yolana.
How are you?
Very well.
So, Peter is the vice president of the university. He also teaches classics, and he's been on the scholarship committee for a long time.
I'm the chair of the scholarship committee.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've read a ton of scholarship applications. You've
have.
seen the good, the bad, the very best ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be on that committee to reward the most outstanding applicants and also those who have different needs. So you've gone over the major scholarship of possibilities, Yolana, and I was just going to talk a little bit about the way a person on the committee might approach the applications and give people a little bit of a sense of what to keep in mind when they're putting the best foot forward in those scholarship applications. So I think you touched on the fact that those different major awards have slightly different criteria. They also have slightly different application forms in each case, and you indicated that it's possible to apply for more than one. In fact, we'd encourage people to apply for more than one, just to increase their chances. But you do have to put in a separate application. So different criteria have different forms, and some of those forms speak for themselves in terms of what they're looking for. But kind of a major question I think that anybody applying for these scholarships might have is how to approach the essay question. We have one major essay question for the major scholarships. It is a major question, but it's the scholarships that are major rather than the essay itself. And that topic is on the website, and it's a quotation actually from Pauli Murray, who was a lifelong civil rights advocate in the U.S. And what it asks you to do is to comment on the quotation as follows. It says, "True community is based on equality, mutuality, and reciprocity. It affirms the richness of individual diversity, as well as the common human ties that bind us together." So a very rich topic with all sorts of possibilities for comment and discussion. We chose this topic this year, I think, for a couple of reasons. One, King's is, we're proud that King's is a very vibrant community. Our model for education is one that immerses students here in the whole experience in their first year, at least, of living on campus and really living the life of scholarship that they've entered into. And so this topic speaks to the issue of what community is and what strong community is. And the second reason we chose it is because diversity has become a real focus of our conversation here on campus. And especially with the inauguration of the new Prince Scholarship that Yolana spoke about a moment ago, which is specifically designed for African Nova Scotian applicants. We thought it was a great opportunity to make diversity the issue of the year for our essays. In approaching an essay like this, you want to keep a few things in mind. I would say the first thing is that though this is a topic that is very current and generates all sorts of ideas, you want to make sure that you're writing an organized essay, that you're shaping your thoughts in such a way as to persuade your reader, your readers, in fact, um, of your ideas on that topic. You want to organize it around a thesis, as we say in the university essay business, and you could ask your teachers about this if you needed some guidance. But generally, a thesis is a proposition, a main idea or hypothesis that you state clearly at the beginning of the essay, but which is something that needs working through. It needs discussion and development in the body of the essay itself, and until you reach a conclusion that makes your reader feel as if you've really hashed out that thesis and brought the reader to a new kind of understanding. The essay topic is broad enough that you could do a little bit of research on it if you wanted to. And if you do it that way, you need to represent your work appropriately. Represent your research, make sure you represent other people's ideas appropriately in your writing. But it needn't be a major piece of research either. It can be just the development of an idea that you build upon, either by observing the examples of good community and equality and human ties in the world, or even by talking about a personal experience, although you don't need to talk about a personal experience to write an effective essay on a topic like this. You want to stay within the word count. There's lots.
Did we mention what the word count is, by the way?
500 words.
Yeah, so it's a pretty short essay.
Yeah.
To develop an argument in, but yeah, stay within the word count.
And you know, writing an effective short essay is often a longer piece of work than writing a long essay, because you've got to choose and you've got to prune and you've got to balance everything for effectiveness. You want to proofread that essay. You can proofread it yourself. You can also get help in proofreading it, as long as the person that's helping you out isn't actually writing the essay, but only picking out aspects of it that aren't clear or that are grammatically wrong or spelled atrociously or what have you. So make sure you're presenting yourself cleanly, because that's part of being persuasive in writing. And the last thing I'd say is don't try to game the system. Don't try to write an essay that says what you think your readers want to hear. Express yourself as authentically as you can, and that means coming up with an argument that you believe in, as well as one that you're trying to persuade your reader of. Does that seem like some good advice, Yolana?
I think that was
yeah,
very clear. I also mentioned earlier that some of these awards, in order to apply, you need to ask for a letter of reference.
Yeah.
So for some of them, the applicants will need to get 2 references, usually an academic one and then one related to work or volunteer experience. For the Colin Starnes Award, you only need 1 reference, but it has to be your high school principal. Right. Can you give us any advice about how you would approach someone to ask for a reference effectively?
Yeah, I have a few tips. I think probably the first thing that's of essence at this point is time. Do it early, so make your decision and alert the person that you're going to ask that you'd like to have them do this. My advice for doing that is to do it in writing, write it in an email. Would you be willing to do this for me? And supply the person that you're asking with some key bits of information, links to King's and links to the scholarship, so that they know what kind of thing you're asking. And then once they agree to do that, you might supply them with other pieces of information as well, like your own CV or even a completed draft form of the application that you're going to submit. It just gives the writer of the recommendation more material to work with when they're writing an effective piece of advocacy on your behalf. You can follow up after you do the email verbally. Always, always being aware that you're asking a favor, you're not demanding a service. That always helps. And make sure your writer knows the deadlines that you're working under. Be clear about that up front so that you avoid disappointment and last-minute rushes. The only other thing I'd say, given our timeline, is just that you should feel free to nudge people politely, say a week before the deadline, just because things tend to get forgotten, especially at this busy and exciting time of year.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you very much, Peter.
All right.
We're really excited to receive all your applications. So plan ahead, give yourself enough time. And I guess the last thing to say is good luck.
Thanks, everybody. Looking forward to seeing some fantastic applications.